I'm not saying that I wish harm to my upstairs neighbors because of their stomping around. But if they were to trip and break their necks and to burst into flames, I wouldn't feel bad about it. Is that cyber violence? Now, I'm fairly certain Sarkeesian and Quinn will never see this video, but they probably should. Skip ahead to the end, ladies. That's where I'm going to get to the point. If you're clicking on this, then you're already familiar with the fact that UN Women had a meeting based on the United Nations Broadband Commissions and the report on violence against women and girls. And you really know there weren't that many men around when they came up with the acronym, because at first glance, it really looks like a combination of vag or wang or something when you're like, what did that say? There'd be some guy going, hey, you know, ladies. Not funny. That's the best imitation of a heh bro I could do. The big term to come out of this meeting is cyber violence. And people have been doing a great job of satirizing and poking fun at the term all over the internet, particularly Twitter and Facebook and other social media. Now, I'm making this video not to point out inconsistencies in the report or broken links to C drives or other citations that don't exist. You can use bibme.org or something. It's a good place to start, Commission. But I'm making this video rather because I want to focus on something that's a little bit more important to me out of all of this. Yes, I matter. Out of the entire hearing, hearing? Is it a meeting or hearing? Not very smart. If you watch the video, and it does get rather long, there's only a couple sections where Zoe Quinn or Anita Sarkeesian actually speak, and everything has been focused and quote mined from a couple things they said.
Places that host non-consensual pornography and make a profit off of this. There are individuals on services like YouTube that have made a living off of abusing people like Anita and I, who monetize this, who see the mobs, who aren't anonymous, who raise their funds this way to continue attacking, stalking, and harassing us because it's a cottage industry at this point.
Is that me? Am I part of this? Am I a tiny house? Am I a tiny house because of this? I haven't made anything. I'm poor. I hate to break this news to you. I had a failed Kickstarter. Looking at this, I was surprised to remember that I had almost raised $333. Look at these faces. These are the faces of the cottage industry. They're evil. I'm ashamed to admit that I've spent more than the time than I probably should have watching responses and videos like this. I don't know of anybody that survives solely on responses to those, to anybody. I don't know anybody. I know people who have made videos and they have, you know, Patreons and everything else that a lot of other people online have, but I don't know anybody that just makes exclusive videos like that. Who are these people? I know she couldn't and didn't name any names, but I don't know who she's referring to. I'm sure all these people aren't diving into their Scrooge McDuck money bins, just swimming around with cigars and like, I'm making out so much money.
Anybody could just go look at my Twitter mentions right now, where people are impersonating my friends to tell me that I'm, like, to basically use gendered violence slurs against me.
You almost called yourself a whore in front of everyone, didn't you? You caught yourself, but you almost did it. You almost did it.
To recognize that harassment is, as someone had mentioned, it's not just what is legal and illegal, right? Harassment is threats of violence, but it's also the day-to-day grind of you're a liar, you suck, you know, making all of these hate videos to attack us on a regular basis, and the mobs that come from those hate videos, etc.
I don't think I need to point out that you lie and you suck do not fall under that. I can't tell you the amount of things that have been thrown at me, the deluge of comments since I started making videos in 2006. Suggestions for me to go kill myself. I'm a loser. I should die. Fuck you. You suck. I've had dicks photoshopped all over my face. I wouldn't call those comments violent or even abuse. People expressing themselves. So my point is that those two statements by those ladies is overshadowing anything good, unfortunately, that could have come out of that. If you read the report and what they're talking about constitutes as violence or cyber violence, none of those things are good. And those things probably should be dealt with properly by the right authorities across the world. This would benefit all people of all genders, and if they succeed in helping out anybody because of this, that's great. But when one or two things that don't make any logical sense get highlighted and everything else is not mentioned as much, there's a problem. And I think Ms. Sarkeesian, Miss Quinn, you might want to come out and clarify, retract, say something else. Say, hey, you know, I misspoke. This is what I meant. I was nervous. After all, the world was watching me. I was speaking in front of the UN. What I really meant was X. Even if you meant what you said, there's no way you could have meant what you said, because it doesn't make any sense. I mean, you either purposely said that or you're not very bright. And I don't mean that in a violent way. But there's no way you can legitimately believe that a video like this or anything close to it is abuse. And if you do, you need additional assistance outside of the internet. I've watched, as I said earlier, a lot of the videos, and I haven't heard anybody give a call to action. Like the mobs of people and the mass things that come with it. I've never heard that. I've never heard someone say, go get her. Do this, do that. Not once. I understand it comes, and I understand it's inappropriate. A large deal of what you get is inappropriate and uncalled for. Not excusing it. What I'm saying is, just because all of that occurs, trying to pull other things into that does not serve your purpose. There are things that fall outside of what you want to accomplish. And as I may have mentioned on Twitter, you're just carpet bombing the entire area, and there are acceptable losses to those that get in the way. And someone saying, you liar, you suck, is getting in your way. If you watch my response to her, that I made with no funds, and it's not very good to listen to, but the point being is that at the end, my conclusion is I agree with her. I think she's right in a lot of aspects, but her research about games pretty much proves that she's not familiar with them. And that's what I was pointing out. Like, you can do a lot better research and a lot better argumentation that would help your point a lot better rather than what you're doing. And of course, I've been blocked by her since. I don't know what I said. Probably you suck. And I've tried to stay out of it because I don't want to be one of those people like, oh, I'm against SJWs and I want to take down feminism, because I don't. It's not that I agree with the modern feminism or social justice warriors, as they're called, or the other side, or Gamergate, or anything. It's not that I disagree. It's that my views tend to be more moderate, and I don't jump into name-calling very quickly sometimes. A moderate tone does not get heard online, unfortunately. As I said not that long ago, Anita really hasn't, up until this point, hasn't affected anything in gaming itself. There's a few things that people that agree with her have changed in gaming, from, you know, ads, or a couple things that are in game from outfits, and it really, overall, it hasn't affected much. Quiet's outfit still exists. People complained about it, but it still exists. It's there. Sexism in gaming hasn't ended. Violence hasn't ended as of yet. Nothing has changed. And my first thought when I heard those quotes is that there are women and girls out there who have been stalked by people they know in real life, people they have met, people they have dated. They've been harassed online, and it's bled into the real world. That's a real issue. There's far more events like that occurring that we need to deal with before the types of harassment that fall under the categories of criticism, or you suck, or people disagreeing with you. And we need to change that focus so people take that seriously. It's not just UN Women that should be trying to support and do things about this. Other local governments should be looking into the availability of private information, and information that gets put and sold online by companies, where you can go in and buy anybody's information out there. This goes way beyond you suck. And if you allow your statements to go unchecked. You're going to destroy everything you claim you're working for. I've been in front of the camera here a while, and I understand when it's on me or it's on the person beside me. If the person beside me is speaking and I know the world is watching, take a moment to get off your phone. How about you not be on social media for a minute? Maybe we should address your social media addiction.